Hello everyone, I'm here, I'm back, and I've got a lot of stuff to cover, specifically dealing with videos that are going to be upcoming and the break I'll be taking, and I guess I'll start with that. I know I mentioned this in a previous video, but I'll let you guys in on it now in case you didn't hear before, but I'm going to be taking a vacation, doing a road trip up to Maine. I leave Saturday morning, so I'll be gone for about week and a half, 2 weeks, so you won't be getting any videos from me during that time period because I will be too busy relaxing and having good old fun times with my buddies up in Maine. So, there's that, but before I leave, I do want to get a bunch of videos out to you guys, namely this one, a review of Money in the Bank, my next Star Wars review, and my next Classic Match review. So all of those will be upcoming this week, right before I leave, so be on the lookout for that. As far as what I'm going to be covering in this video, I think I should mention AwesomeCon. I attended that earlier today. Yeah, I didn't do the full 3-day event like I had done the last 2 years. I only had time to do it for 1 day on a Saturday. And I didn't get to do a whole lot. I felt like I was in, I spent most of the day waiting in lines. I did get to meet the original Green Ranger, Jason David Frank. That was pretty cool. I also got an autograph from Stan Lee, which was very, very cool. I didn't really get to talk to him at all because there were like 800 people in line, so they kept it at like an assembly line almost, just like sign it and go, sign it and go. But just hey, I got to get an autograph from Stan Lee in person. That was pretty neat. And, you know, dude's 94 years old, so it's pretty remarkable that he still does stuff like this at all. So, that was pretty neat. But as far as the wrestling side of things go, Shinsuke Nakamura and Charlotte Flair were guests there. It was a nice surprise that they were there, because I had been told that they were going to be there on Friday, and I couldn't make it Friday, so I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to get to see Charlotte and Nakamura. But they got bumped to Saturday, and I didn't get to meet either of them or get an autograph, but I did attend the panel, the Q&A session that they did, and it was cool to get to see them. And first question right off the bat was a really cool one, where somebody asked Nakamura how he felt about Tetsuya Naito destroying the IWGP Intercontinental title belt, and he was like, what was his response? It was something like, "How did you feel?" And it's like, actually, sir, it upset me to see the belt get destroyed like that. And he's like, I feel same. And Nakamura, he had a lot of like really funny like one-liners and stuff like that thrown in there. So that was pretty cool. And it was, hey, I got to see Nakamura and Charlotte Flair in person, so that was pretty neat. So yeah, AwesomeCon was a lot of fun as usual. Even if my wait times were a little, I felt like there were a lot more people there this year, and the lines seemed to get longer. But in any case, did have a blast. It was fun. But moving on from there and some of the wrestling-related things I do want to talk about. One show review and one mini preview of an upcoming pay-per-view. The show review will be about Dominion, New Japan's latest major event. I know it happened a week ago, but I didn't really have time to get around to doing a full-fledged review of it. What I will say is that I will mimic what pretty much everybody else is saying about the show. It was great. It was very good, almost from top to bottom. The only match on the card I really didn't care for was the opening 8-man tag, just because it was so blasé. But, yeah, I mean, if that's the worst match on the show, then we're in for a good time. I really liked, I enjoyed the gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-man titles. I thought that was a, good match to take advantage of the fact that New Japan does have so many stables, from Chaos to Bullet Club and Los Ingobernables de Japan. I'm sure I butchered that, but whatever. And Taguchi, Taguchi's group, what are they called? Taguchi Japan, I think they're called, and Suzuki Gun. So they've got so many stables and groups running around that it made sense to do a match like this. I thought both tag title matches were actually pretty good. I'm getting a little sick of seeing Young Bucks and Roppongi Vice work with each other. I feel like they're the only two IWGP Junior Heavyweight teams. And it feels like every title match is just Young Bucks and Roppongi Vice. But their matches have gotten better, so I guess I can't complain. I really enjoyed the Wrestle Kingdom match, and I enjoyed this one, more the same. It's like the Young Bucks, stop being spot monkeys and actually learn how to put a match together. It's amazing. So yeah, it's like now they're showing off that great athleticism, but they're also structuring the match in a logical way, where the action actually makes sense, and I'm not just seeing the same fucking match every single time. So, yeah, I enjoyed that match. I liked War Machine versus the Gorillas of Destiny. That was a nice, like, kind of hard-hitting power match. A nice counterbalance to the high-flying junior heavyweight match. So both tag title matches I thought were enjoyable. I thought Cody Rhodes and Michael Elgin had a good match. Cody, who's setting up to be like a double champion because he's got the next title shot against Christopher Daniels at the next ROH show, Best in the World. And it looks like he's going to be Okada's next challenger. So, interesting. I mean, and good for Cody. I mean, he's really carving a nice identity for himself outside of the WWE, and you're really seeing what could have been if they had just not hamstringed him and just not pulled the rug out from under him at every opportunity. It's like now Cody's getting to flourish, and it's good to see. What else? The IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match between Kushida and the champion Takahashi. Very, very good. I would say their best match yet. And again, it's kind of that thing. It's their third major event match. They had the match at Tokyo Dome. I believe their second match was at Wrestling Dontaku. It was either Wrestling Dontaku or Sakura Genesis. I don't remember which one. Actually, now that I think about it, it might have been Sakura Genesis. But in any case, this is their third major pay-per-view match, and there was a natural story happening and events taking place in between each match. So it wasn't just the typical, let's do a match and then do 85 rematches and just spam the match to death. It was there was an ebb and flow and a natural progression of storylines heading into each match. Kushida lost the first match, dropping the belt to Takahashi. They build up to a rematch where Takahashi absolutely humiliates him and beats him in less than 2 minutes. And then Kushida has to kind of find his groove again and win the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, which sets him up for another title match here. And I think this match was the best one they had yet, and a nice kind of climax to the feud. Excellent match. Kushida wins the belt back, but now it looks like he's going to be facing Bushi. And that's another thing this show did. It gave us a bunch of great matches, but it also set up things for the future. I already talked about Cody Rhodes. Bushi looks like he's going to be challenging Kushida for the IWGP Junior belt. Yoshihashi looks like he's going to be going after Minoru Suzuki for the Never Openweight title. So there's they set up a bunch of things for the future as well, and I'm happy to see that. So, moving on from there, we got the Never Openweight title match, the Lumberjack Death match between Hiroki Goto and the champion Minoru Suzuki. Good match, good hard-hitting match. I think the gimmick kind of hindered it a little bit, but overall it was a nice, solid match. Probably the weakest, definitely the weakest of the 4 major title matches. And then you get to the last 2 matches. The Intercontinental title match between Naito and Tanahashi was excellent. This is kind of what, in a weird way, the way they worked it is kind of what I wanted Triple H and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania to be, as far as incorporating an injury into a match, where at WrestleMania, it just kind of felt like they were dragging the match on, and Triple H was just hitting spots to attack the leg just because that's what they had to do. Here, it felt like Naito was attacking the partially torn bicep of Tanahashi and doing it to be a vicious pit bull and to be an asshole. And it just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like Bayley and Sasha at the Brooklyn match where Sasha started stomping on Bayley's broken hand. It's just added a little extra layer of nastiness to it, and there were a lot of moments like that for Naito in this match. And I love the bit of him destroying the title belt little by little and all that stuff, because it even adds more fuel to the fire and gives Tanahashi more reason to kick his ass. Ultimately, Tanahashi won back the belt, and he is once again the IWGP Intercontinental title holder. I should finish my sentence there. Yeah, so a very enjoyable match. Very exciting. If this had been the main event, it would have been an excellent main event. But the true main event, Kazuchika Okada defending the IWGP World Heavyweight title against Kenny Omega in a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom back in January. That excellent, excellent match they had that I said was the match of the year, and holy fuck, I doubt that it's going to be topped. as it turns out, I think the match that may have topped it may have been the rematch. And it's funny, whenever you have a match as good as that first one and you're going into a sequel, obviously the expectations are high, but I try to keep it reasonable. It's like, all right, what are the odds that they're going to put on a match as good as the last one they had? And I made the comment, look, if the second match is even half as good as the first one, we're good. I'm good anyway. I think that would be more than acceptable. They went out there and tore it down in a way that I'd never imagined, and without being a carbon copy of the first match too. This one went the full hour, so it went to a time limit draw, so we didn't even have a winner, and the match was still amazing. And the story they wanted to push here was like the exhaustion of going for an hour, and they really, I mean, those last few minutes, I mean, I legit believe that they had like pushed each other to the limit. They just couldn't go anymore. They look like kind of like in WWF No Mercy on the N64 when you would like wear guys down and like let's say you're having a match against somebody and both of you are worn down and like all it takes is one punch to knock you over. It kind of felt like we were at that point. We got that great spot where Okada tried to hit the Rainmaker, but Omega didn't duck. He just collapsed from exhaustion, and Okada just went flying off to the other side of the ring. And just really well-designed stuff, and a lot of little nuances that really conveyed the points, like, wow, these guys have, like, taken each other to the limit and beyond. And again, we still have that story in place where it looks like the One-Winged Angel is going to be Okada's kryptonite. Not in this match, because A, he got out of it all but one time, and the one time Omega finally was able to hit it, he was too close to the ropes, and Okada was able to save himself that way. So it's like, God, if he could just hit it in the center of the ring, he'd put Okada away. And it looks like the Rainmaker, which is one of the most devastating finishers around, Omega is like the one guy who can withstand the Rainmaker, or multiple Rainmakers. So there's that little element going on as well. And all of those things, you know, the excellent action, the crazy, crazy stuff they did to each other, the hard shots, all of it just combined for a very, very good, excellent hour-long match. That might be my match of the year now. The main thing that the Wrestle Kingdom match has over it is that, at least with that one, we got like a definitive winner. But here, I believe it sets the stage beautifully for a third match between the two down the road. I definitely want this to be a trilogy, and I want to see what they can do in a third match, just to kind of like put the nice little bow on it and call it a day. Just excellent work from both guys. Omega has really come into his own as a main event star, and Okada is like one of my favorite guys to watch. So just excellent work all around from both guys. And if this had been the only good thing on Dominion, it would have been worth it. But Dominion had this and a bunch of other good matches. So Dominion might be the pay-per-view of the year. Actually, it was a pretty excellent show. From top to bottom, and that main event just put it over the top. So, great stuff all around. Now, the pay-per-view event we have tomorrow night is a WWE show. It's Money in the Bank 2017, a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, which is a little surprising that Raw kind of got shafted on the Money in the Bank this year. But, yeah, I gotta be honest, I have watched maybe 15 minutes of SmackDown since before Backlash, which wasn't even that long ago. There's too many fucking pay-per-views. But, yeah, it's just, I have no interest. And I'm barely watching Raw at this point, too. It's like, I feel like I'm not missing anything. And if the ratings are any indication, I'm not the only one that feels that way. But it's just, there's nothing going on right there that's like, makes me feel like I have to go out of my way to watch it on Tuesday nights. It's like, yeah, I'd rather go out and have a pizza or go drink or something like that. I don't need to sit at home and watch SmackDown. And God, I'm watching 205 Live more than I watch Raw and SmackDown. It's like, Jesus, what's wrong? It's really bad. So I don't even know what the full card is for Money in the Bank. So me doing a full-fledged preview is going to be silly. I know that they're doing the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which will be interesting. I'm not a fan of having multiple ladder matches on one show, but I've made that complaint for years, and it never got any better, so there's no point in me repeating it or celebrating that point here. But, yeah, I think that'll be interesting. I think that's a neat little thing to do. The Money in the Bank doesn't always... I wish they'd do it for, like, tag teams, too. Or do it for cruiserweights, too. You know, I'm not saying have, like, 45 ladder matches on one show. I'm saying maybe next year do... It's like, all right, we did the women and the world title last year. Let's do tag titles and cruiserweights next year or something. Like, whatever. Like, however they decide to do it. But... those could be some interesting ways to kind of revitalize Money in the Bank a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting and explore new avenues with the gimmick that haven't been explored before. Randy Orton's going to be challenging Jinder Mahal for the title. Jinder's going over. I don't care. And honestly, like, I have no interest in watching Jinder Mahal, but Randy Orton has been so boring that like, if he wins, it's not like... I have no horse in the race, basically, so... At least we got John Cena coming back on July 4th. And he's going to be a free agent, which, as speculated, people are saying he's going to wind up being on both Raw and SmackDown. It's like, oh boy, that'll get me to watch Raw and SmackDown every week. All I needed was John Cena. Hooray! Yeah, but, God, what else is even on the show? I don't even know. It's just... it's so sad. It really is so sad. So yeah. I will not be watching Money in the Bank tomorrow night, because it's Father's Day and I'm doing an event with the family. So, but I will try to watch it, Monday evening and have a review out sometime next week. And like I said, with that, I'll also be doing, my next Star Wars review and my next Classic Match review. And so you'll be getting a bunch of videos, a nice little handful of videos from me right before I head out, for Maine and do God knows what. But yeah, I guess I'm done talking about Money in the Bank for now. It's like, that tells you how little interest I have. I have no idea what the full card is, and I'm just, it is like, I'm not even 100% sure who's in the other, like, the world title shot Money in the Bank ladder match. I think it's like AJ, Ziggler, Nakamura, Corbin. Is Baron Corbin in there? I don't know. we're in some really, really dull times. It's times like this where it's like I pray and I beg for WCW 2000 level material. It was bad, but at least it was funny bad, and I could talk, you know, endless hours about how bad it was. This is like, there's nothing to say. It's like the difference between, like, The Room and the new Mummy movie that just came out. It's, you know, yeah, it's a generic, boring shit action movie that desecrates the legacy of what came before it, the classic Universal monster movies, and is a shameless attempt at trying to rip off what Marvel's doing. So it's more soulless than anything else. I mean, I really don't have anything other to say about it other than that. But The Room, I could sit here all day and talk about how batshit crazy and terrible that movie is, and how enjoyably terrible it is. But for right now, that's all I got for you guys. Sorry my pay-per-view preview couldn't be a little bit more extensive, but like I said, I am going to be checking out the show Monday evening, and I will have a review of it. And yeah, but that is it for now. So until later, you know, I'll see you guys at another time.